Well, all right again. Welcome back to the Active Self-Protection Podcast. I am yet again your host, Mike Williver, and with any luck at all, I remain your favorite.
This is not a paid endorsement, but I am a brand ambassador for Heckler and Koch for a reason. HK firearms are incredibly high quality, and when it's time to step up out of the entry tier, they're the only ones I recommend. You carry a gun just in case. Shouldn't it be an HK just in case?
Former Fed. With us today is our owner and founder, John Correa, and our CMO and all-around training app guy, Neil Widener. Stephanie could not be here. She is busy doing, I would say, family stuff. Is that safe to say, Neil?
I think that's a fair assessment. Yes.
Yes, there's always family stuff to do. As long as Cody is around, there is stuff to do. We'll just leave it at that.
He has a full-time job and then some.
Indeed. If you've ever been to our conference and met Cody, you're missing out. So hopefully, let's talk about the conference. Actually, we'll open with that. That wasn't that long ago. The Active Self-Protection Conference, National Conference, every year is in September, and so far has been either in Phoenix or Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas, and has done very, very well to support the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camp, which is a very worthy cause. So which one of you guys wants to discuss the conference and how it went real quick?
I mean, I'll start. I think it was the best conference we've ever had. We had record attendance. The instructors this year were really, really incredible. For anybody who hasn't been, the whole thing is a fundraiser. You literally don't pay Active Self-Protection a penny to come to the conference. You make a donation to the charity. And for the last 5 years, we've done the Flint Hills Foster Teen Camps. Hope that continues indefinitely. We're excited for them. And, we raised $120,000 overall this year, just a little over that. And so what a cool thing, man. All the instructors donate their time. The corporate donors cover their travel expenses so that every penny that people give, whether it's in the auction, whether it's in the raffle, whether it's for their attending, goes to support the kids. And so, I don't know what you think, Neil, but I think the culture is it's very different. I go to other conferences and I love them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like, oh, look at us, we're special, like we're better than everyone. The culture is different. And if you haven't been, it's hard to kind of put that lightning in a bottle.
It really is. And I'll say it, I think it's special. It's special to us because of what we're doing and why it's so different in that. And I love going to other conferences. Don't get me wrong. I'm the same as you. I mean, those are fun. They're good people putting them on there. They bring in good instructors and all of that. But I think the difference of ours is the mission is a little bit different. You hear it from the instructors because some of these instructors kind of cross-pollinate through different conferences, whether they're going to, the Guardian or TACCon or something like that. But what they say is, when I go to those, I recognize everybody and I know everybody. There's a few new faces here and there. When they come to ours, it's like, man, this is a different crowd. And I think that's a big part of it is it's 30 to 40% women show up. And so it's a lot of family stuff a lot of families that come. And that's a different feel. And then the whole mission is that this is for the kids. This is to raise money to help kids that need help bad. And so I do think that makes it special. I think everybody says that ours is the best event out there, and I don't know that ours is the best event out there, but it's my favorite weekend of the year for sure. And, and I spent 3 months getting ready for it and 2 months cleaning up afterwards. So it's a big part of my life.
Yeah. I'm not going to say ours is the best event out there, but it's pretty special, man. I don't go to nearly as much training as John and Neil and Steph do, but every year it is special, and it is special in a different way every year. It seems like this year, some of the employees of the camp, set everybody aside on the first day, all the instructors and staff, and they just talk to us about what goes on there and how these young people's lives are changed and how they come from these, to say challenging circumstances is an understatement, just really bad situations. And this is the one chance they have to come and be validated and told that they matter and that all the labels that they put on themselves and other people have put on them aren't so. And they maybe for the first time get to hear about Jesus Christ and know that there is a God that loves them and wants to have him in their lives. Moving along from that.
Well, and may I say as well, too, for anybody who hasn't been, like, all day long, you're getting top flight training.
Oh.
The classroom classes were incredible. The range classes were incredible. Watching Neil teach, he did some incredible stuff. Christopher Bean, Chris is freaking amazing, man. So many, and those are just, Katie Johnson, just watching Katie teach on the race, Carrie Dudenhofer and
Riley Bowman. We could
Riley
be here all
Bolt. I
day.
mean, just the number of those classes, the classroom stuff. If you haven't been in the ASP Unlimited app and watched Ross Hicks' class on criminal predators and how we protect ourselves from them, it's like I'm watching this going, oh my gosh, why haven't a million people, 20 million people watch this content? It is so the training is incredible all day long. The special, in my opinion, comes after dinner. You know, everybody sits around, has dinner, and then whether that's auction or whether that's, you know, we got to hear this last year from John and Chrissy Espy of SWAT Ministries.
Wow.
Pray for them, then sit around the bonfire. And if you're so inclined, you know, some people want to have a cigar or, you know, a glass of their favorite beverage or whatever. That's great. And that time, man, people stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning building relationships, and it's just special.
Especially Saturday night into Sunday. They say here Sundays are when heroes are made, and there's a reason they say that. And
Yeah,
also,
it's 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
where else can you go and have Cody huck a rather sizable piece of chocolate confection at your head at a God knows what kind of velocity? It's a good time. If you haven't been there, you don't know. If you've been there, you do know.
Kid's got a pretty good changeup.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really does.
And it's underhanded too. So it kind of sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. 0.3 seconds before the Bing impacts your head, he will say heads up, so you'll get plenty.
You can always tell the new people because they come to that and they sit right in the front row and they have no idea. The people that have been around, they sit about 5 rows back because they're like, at least then I got a chance to, you know, and they're all wearing their iPro to this thing because
I'm just off to the side wearing a linebacker's helmet because I know I've been there more than once. And one more thing, real quick, before we move off the conference. What an incredible value for money. Let's say you don't care about foster kids and you don't care about ASP or anything else. You just want to get some outstanding training for, I mean, it's almost silly how inexpensive it is. If you went to any one of these instructors, held a class over a weekend, you would pay this much probably to go to that class and get one instructor. And what you're getting is, I don't know how many. There's a bunch of classes. And the only problem most people have is deciding which classes to attend and which they have to miss because there's so many cool things going on. So with that said, Neil has been the spearhead. He's been kind of not a one-man show, but pretty much a one-man show when it comes to developing the Active Self-Protection app, which is a new thing that we're very, very proud of. It's a place you can go and get content and material you can't get anywhere else. You can get stuff early before you see it on YouTube. You get exclusive content like behind the scenes. John and I have done some. Neil and I have done some. I'm sure they've done some with other people. It's just really, really good stuff. So Neil, talk us through what it took to get this thing going. Because I think most people probably think, it's an app. You know, how hard could it be to get an app put together? Kind of like I said, how hard could it be to put a podcast together? Until I learned for myself. So kind of talk us through that.
Well, I mean, first off, it was fun. But it came about simply because, you know, we woke up one morning and had a strike on YouTube. You know, for a community guideline thing that they couldn't really explain to us and tell us what happened. There was no blood, there was no violence, there was no call to violence, there was nothing. It was really a very, you know, I've told some people, I'm like, I'm not even sure why we put that video up because I mean, other than it was John talking at the NRA conference, and it was a good thing. But I'm like, there was no action in it. It was literally him giving a speech at a seminar. That was, you know, pretty okay, and yet we got a strike on that, and then we couldn't post for 7 days.
So tell people real quick. I don't think a lot of folks know the insides of YouTube. When you get a strike on YouTube, what does that mean? Or is it like 3 strikes you're out, or what does it mean?
Yeah, it's 3 strikes and you're out.
At 3 strikes, they shut your channel down, never to return.
Yeah, and it's not like we're too big for that to happen to us either. That can happen to ASP,
and it has happened. It's happened to a lot of people. You know, some people that we all know, and people that the folks are watching probably know as well. So, and I don't want to be all anti YouTube because, you know, they've been good to us. That was a weird scenario, but you know, because we're like, hey, what do we do? Well, you broke the guidelines. Well, how do we not break them in the future? Don't break the guidelines. And, you know, we just had that circular conversation, and we're like, okay. And at that same time, that's, you know, we'd been talking about an app for a while, and I'm like, you know, maybe we better have a backup plan. You know, because we make a living. There's a few employees that that depend on ASP for a living, and I'm one of them, as are you two. And so started really looking into that. And there's some services out there you can build your own, and that's way beyond me. Anybody that built their own app, I totally take my hat off to. But from our perspective, what I had to do was go to each of the services and line everything all up, which was, some of them were, a couple of days each. Some of them were a couple of hours each. So, and anybody watching this that's done this is like, well, maybe you're an idiot. Well, I probably am. But but it was a lot of background work. And once we got it up, then we work with Vimeo on it. And then it's working with Vimeo to get all of the stuff up there and the content creation done and the processing to get everything up there in the right order and in the right places. Sending out notifications and then managing everything. And so, there's a fair amount of people, you may or may not know this, that cannot figure out how to run an app on their phone. And I spend a fair amount of time with them these days, helping them through there. So to try to learn from them how to make it easier for everybody else, it's been a huge undertaking. I just had.
And on the content side, I mean, like, okay,
Yeah.
so, you can't, if you're going to launch an app, you can't just launch it and go, oh, okay, we're going to put all the same stuff from YouTube that we put over there. Why would you do that? That's stupid, So we got to go, okay, wait a minute. If we want to have our own place, a backup place in case YouTube goes down, for sure.
Right.
But also, and more importantly, like a place for the people who really want to engage with us, to dive deep with us.
Yep.
Well, then, okay, what are we going to do with that? And so that's why we came up with all the exclusive content. That's why you get compilation videos, why you get first watches, and those are super fun. Why we get behind the scenes, why you get the rapid reacts that Neil has started doing. And so you get this way to interact. And listen, there's millions of people on the big YouTube channel, right? There's hundreds of thousands of people on Active Self-Protection Extra. There are less than that in the app. Okay. I don't want to like fewer than that. Okay. Obviously, as you'd expect. And so you'll find me in the comments on the app every day, literally every day, interacting personally. And it's a totally different community of, and it's not that we always get along and everybody kowtows to me and says I'm the greatest thing since beer in a can, but much more collegial, much more, hey, let's talk about this. And I get that. And John, what about that? And we've got a forum on there that we're about to hopefully have one of the premier moderators of forums in America come and join us doing some work on that, crossing fingers on that.
Yeah.
And Young, if you hear me, I'm coming for you, buddy.
Yeah.
John, let me ask you this specifically, because I wanted to address this, and I'm pretty sure you guys probably want to address it too. We get comments all the time over on the YouTube side, and we direct people to the app to watch some content, and it's always, you guys money grubbing, money mongers and blah blah blah, and it's all about money and yada yada, and that's just not so. And more times than not, when we direct somebody over to the app, the content is not, you don't have to pay for a thing when you get over there. It's stuff that's already publicly available. Is that right?
So we're working right now. Actually, we just had a meeting today. Neil and I did to work on a $0 tier, to work on a free tier that, hey, you can have the app and get a bunch of content for nothing. Usually, like the few times that we've done a video, like there's been a couple of them where we're like, oh, we're going to get strikes on YouTube. Like this is too much. Like it's not happening.
Yeah, it's too violent usually.
Yeah. So I'm literally, before we got this, I'm working on one right now. Okay. I'm working on one right now that Neil and I did, that we watched it together for the first time. And I went, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, we can't put that on YouTube. No, we just can't. It'll get pulled down. We'll get a strike like that. So it's going app exclusive. Now, that same time when things go live, you'll hear us say, hey, there's another one that's live and exclusive in the app. Well, okay. I mean, you didn't lose out on anything by not getting that lesson or whatever. So, but most times when we do that, though, we say, hey, go over to the app and that video is public. You don't got to give us nothing. It's just, I cannot put it here on YouTube. So go over there. It's literally usually click this link. It opens in YouTube's browser, watch it, close the browser and talk about it on YouTube. That's literally as much work as it takes. You'd think sometimes from some people's perspective that I ask them for their firstborn in order to watch the lesson, when I said, literally, all you have to do is hit a click, watch in the browser built into YouTube. and then keep commenting. That's it. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, the bitter side of Neil that always wants to respond, and sometimes I give into the bitter side. But when they're like you're being money grubbers or greedy or whatever, I'm like, we're giving you 10 videos a week for free.
Yeah.
Who's the greedy one that wants 11 for free? And it's completely lost on most people. And frankly, most of the folks that comment like that's the negative side of things. And I try to stay out of that, but they drag me in and beat me up with experience sometimes because they're just so used to doing that.
I'm a big consumer of YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, usually educational stuff. And I'm the one that will go into the comments. And if I see a comment like that, like, you're doing this again or blah, blah, blah. And people will write a paragraph about something they don't like. And I will always reply to those and I'll be like, hey man, I'm sorry this free content wasn't free enough for you or whatever. Like you can literally just not watch it. If you see your favorite YouTuber is going to Disneyland for the 3rd time this year and you don't want to watch that video, hey guy, don't watch it. That's all you got to do. It's way faster than watching it and then commenting. That takes way more time out of your day.
I've said this 100 times too. People don't realize this. Like, okay, I'm a viewer of YouTube, right? So like I watch YouTube videos. It's kind of my evening entertainment, right? And I realize that when I'm watching YouTube videos, I am not the customer. I'm not. I'm the product. I'm literally the product when I'm watching a YouTube video. The customer is the people who take out ads. Now, I pay for YouTube Premium as a consumer so that I don't have to watch the prepaid ads, the Google ads. And all those YouTubers have they have product placements and sponsors and those things. Okay, fine. Depending on how long your product placement is, you give me a 3-minute product placement and I'll probably skip it. Give me a 30-second one, I'll probably let it play.
Yeah.
But I don't begrudge any of those guys that because I know I'm not the customer. I am the product.
Yeah. And if we didn't have advertisers and we didn't have people paying for the app, well, then John would have to go find a full-time job and wouldn't be able to do this anymore. And there wouldn't be a channel. Yeah. It's not all that complicated. Speaking of the channel, the YouTube channel, we hit a milestone. I say we, like I built this company from the ground up. Don't listen to Correa. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We hit a milestone of over 3 million subscribers. That is a very big deal. We know we're not PewDiePie, right? We get that. But man, in our world and in the circles we roll in, 3 million is a very big number and it means a lot to us. So either one of you guys want to talk about that?
Go ahead, John.
Okay. Well, I mean, absolutely. So we're a little over 3 million subscribers now. Like last I looked, 3.08. I want to look up real quick just because I want to give accurate numbers here and verify what we got there. Yeah. So correct on that. We also crossed another much bigger barrier, in my opinion. We're at 1.6 billion lifetime channel views. There's almost no, there's no frame of reference for that. We are by a mile the most viewed channel in the world related to self-defense, is active self-protection. Now, I'm not saying there's not channels with more subscribers. Some people would consider like Demolition Ranch, well, they're bigger than you are. Well, I mean, I'd call him Matt. I like Matt Character. I think his content's hilarious personally. But he's not a self-defense channel. He likes to play with guns on the range, and good for him. Like, do it, dude, and get your millions and bajillions of subscribers.
It's fun.
I watch his stuff too. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, Greg Kinman, Hickok 45. He's got more subscribers than I do, and I love him. It's like your wonderful, kind uncle who has a cool range in his backyard and wants to bring you along shooting with him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Love him, but wouldn't consider that a self-defense channel. So by, when we're talking about private citizen self-defense channels, we are, I think almost an order of magnitude higher than any other channel in the world. And so to be in that place, dude, from something that literally started as an accident is amazing. And we're not leaving YouTube. So people who are like, John's going to eventually leave YouTube. No, I have no plans. We like doing this, and
not voluntarily anyway.
Yeah, right. Not voluntarily, and
YouTube has a vote in that, but that's and that was a big thing when we first launched the app. Of people like, oh no, now he's going to leave, and back to that greedy money grubbing stuff. But the fact is that was never the plan, and it still isn't the plan. We may adjust some stuff, and we're right now we're doing a few less videos on YouTube. not necessarily to do anything with the app, but because I didn't, because John didn't want to die of stress of making all of those videos every week. So we've backed off a little bit, just because that it's a pretty easy place to get burned out when you're making video after video after video after video. And and moderating comments to keep things at least somewhat civil that really wears on your heart, man. I know firsthand how that feels. And a fair amount of my family members help us with moderation, and I see it firsthand there as well. So, there's just a lot to it, but there's absolutely no intention of ever leaving YouTube. That's kind of where we made our place and got started. And they've been, for the most part, they've been very, very good to us. One of the other challenge, and I hate to always go back to the money piece of it, but there's so many people that just don't understand how monetization works, especially on a platform like YouTube. But a significant amount of our videos do not get monetized. Now they haven't unmonetized.
They get limited monetization.
Yeah, limited monetization, and there's a few that have zero, none at all. But if we had I've told people this before. If we had a channel where John was unboxing toys, and got the views that we're getting right now, life would be a significantly different place right now.
I would own an airplane.
I'd have a much bigger studio.
You'd probably have 2 airplanes. I would have a way better tractor at my house. But I can't fault people for that. They see what they see. It was funny. I just, because I watch a lot of shorts. I go to bed and I plan on, hey, I'm getting to bed at a decent time tonight. I'm going to get a good night's sleep. I'm going to feel great tomorrow. And then 3 a.m. rolls around and I'm sitting there scrolling through shorts, right? But last night I saw one. You guys all know who Bill Maher is, right? Mm-hmm. And does his was it Real Time or what? I don't even know what the show is. I haven't really watched it much because he's not really very politically lined up with me. I never agreed with much that he said. But I was watching one last night and he was doing one on that the Mr. Beast guy that's got, he's probably the most successful YouTuber out there.
Jimmy.
And this guy, he's got like 30 billion lifetime views or something he makes us look silly. Yeah. And the money that he's made from that, he's turned around and done so much good with it. And so Bill Maher gives a bunch of examples of like, he took a bunch of his money that he, I'm sure there's some sponsorship dollars, but that's a lot of his money too, went to Africa and they dug like 30 wells.
About this.
And then people were mad that he was taking all of the, he was taking all the.
Why don't you do good for American kids?
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's just, we've been over here building, digging wells for the last 30 years, and he's getting all of the press. Or he did a thing where he helped somewhere over 100 people that were blind to get cataract surgery so they could see, and there were people that actually said that was him. There was something wrong with that. And so if you want, go search that from Bill Maher says it way better and way funnier. I was literally like giggling, almost fell out of bed last night watching that. But it doesn't matter what good you do. There's always that group of people out there that are going to see the negative in what you do. And I think that, YouTube's been pretty good to us. We've been able to do some pretty good stuff for some other people, go back to the conference. We've raised, some significant money to help people out. And, I think that gets lost on a lot of folks.
Yeah, and I genuinely. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, if I could, Neil made a point a little bit ago. Like, some folks are like, "Well, John, you used to put out 10 videos a week on the big channel. Now you're putting out 7 videos a week. So what the heck?" I'll explain if people are interested in it. I didn't want to die. That's what happened. So we have a couple of times in the history of ASP. We have 15 employees in the company, right? So there are 15 of us that run active self-protection in various parts. I would say that we have, I would say 6 of us who are full-time employees and then 9 who are part-timers. And you think that's about right, Neil?
Yeah, I think that's right.
5.5 full-timers, maybe 5, 6, depending on how you see things. Anyways, our video editor, which is a full-time position at the time, left to go do other stuff. And so that kind of happened a little bit more rapidly than we were expecting. And so I'm the backup. I'm the guy that is the secondary. And so I had to pick it up. And we were right before our conference. We were like a month before our conference, which is crunch time. I know you say it's a month, John. Gosh, it's a month. No, a month is like, oh my gosh, the conference is on us. And so I had to not only create all the content, but edit it, upload it, get it uploaded into our app architecture, get it uploaded onto YouTube, make sure that everything is set correctly, all that stuff. So I took on a second full-time job on top of my original full-time job, which takes me to make all the videos that we make every week. It's about a 55 or 60 hour a week job, frankly, with all the research and all that stuff and getting everything right. So it just was killing me. It was literally killing me. I was working 85 hours a week. I was stressed out as the could possibly be. And so then I talked to Neil and Steph, and I was like, dude, I got to throttle back just a little bit. I gotta pull this back a little bit so that for my sanity. And they were like, dude, we were hoping you would ask. So
for the record, we've been saying that for about a year before that, even before that, man, you're going to burn yourself out. But yeah, first and foremost, we're all friends here. And, this isn't necessarily a business to us. This is a mission to us. And this mission doesn't go on with all the pieces that we've got in place. And it hurts when, when some folks, leave for various reasons. But man, when the video editor goes, the only one that can really do that is John. And for an example, so I've started this whole new reaction thing where we're reacting to comments on videos, and it's pretty fun. And I think that's going to be a good one that'll go for a while. But I put the first one up on the app, and John's like, "Hey Neil, could you go edit out like the first 4 seconds of dead air there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And so I pulled it down.
That monkey meme. You're like,
it literally took me 2 hours to figure out how to do this. And I'm like, and I'm Googling, and I'm like, I'm not asking for help. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to fight through. And then by the time I get done, I'm like, holy crap, I just spent 2 hours to figure out how to get rid of 4 seconds. So you'll see that, as we do these from now on, we'll get all our small talk out of the way, and then we'll start. There will not be a 4-second dead air.
Yeah,
because I don't want to have to figure that out again.
On the Gutowski files, which John had the idea of separating the main podcast from Gutowski. It's worked out really, really well for a few weeks in a row.
Witness me.
Yes, John Correa. And for whatever reason, we got to talking about sports at the beginning a few times. I'm from the DC area, so I'm a Washington Redskins team Commanders fan, and he's from Philly, so he's an Eagles fan. And we had the Diamondbacks versus the Phillies in the in the World Series run up and everything. And people just got super duper annoyed with the sports talk. So we made a vow to put that at the end. So now you can listen to the Gutowski files. And when you hear the word Eagles, or World Series or any of those trigger words, you can turn it right off and not listen to the end of it. I'm hoping this whole interview here between the three of us will get up on the extra channel. It's in its entirety. Is that possible, boys?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it's possible. You know how that is now. Thank God we have a really highly competent video editor, and so that's not my responsibility now.
Yes. So this will look way better if I'm not the one editing it. But about the podcast, we have now cracked, thanks to you, our viewers and listeners. This isn't even the viewers. This is just listeners on the audio version. We've cracked the 0.5%, top 0.5% mark, which is a very big deal.
I do believe we need a moment of the Pat McAfee treatment.
Thank you, boys.
Seriously, bro, that's your work, man. And you do such a great job interviewing people and letting them tell their story. I love how you guide the conversation, but you don't force the conversation. I think, dude, all your work, all your preparatory work of investigations and that stuff makes you a phenomenal interviewer.
It's amazing what spending all that time talking people into telling you things that aren't in their own best interest will do for you as a podcast host. Like after you just read them a document, here's this document. All right, here's the first thing. Shouldn't talk to me. Here's the second thing. Should probably ask for an attorney. Here's the third thing. If you do talk to me, I'm totally going to use it against you in court. And then we initial sign, and then move that piece of paper as far away as I can get it. And then we're going to talk about, I don't know, funnel cakes for the next 15 minutes. And hopefully you'll forget we just read that and you'll talk to me.
Yeah.
By the way, and now, in retirement, I think people are surprised to hear me say things like, hey, it's almost never we're down to your benefit to talk to the police without consulting an attorney first. And I mean, almost ever. It's just not a great idea. So I'm just going to, I'm done now. I'll just ruin it for everybody who comes behind me investigatorily. Is that a word? And then finally, if you're watching this on the Extra channel or in the app, do us a favor, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Those comments get read. They get read by more than one person. They get read by me, Neil, John, Steph. Sometimes half of Neil's family is sifting through them as well. And we pay attention. And if you leave us a constructive comment, we will pay attention and maybe change some stuff. It just depends. This is always a work in progress. ASP is never a finished product. We're always getting better, we're always getting bigger, and we're always trying to serve our audience as best we can, because
Well, and our purpose, our mission at Active Self Protection isn't to run a large enterprise. Our mission is not to make money. Our mission is not to, get a lot of views or be viral or be social media mavens or any of that stuff. All those things have happened in some sense, but our mission is to help good, sane, sober, moral, prudent people protect their families from criminal violence. And that's our whole goal. And we're always driving towards that. Why did we start making the main narrations? To help good people have more evidence-based ways to protect their family. Why did we start Extra, the second YouTube channel? We started it because we wanted a place to teach the things we weren't teaching on the big channel, to help good people protect their families in more evidence-based ways. Why did we start the podcast? Because we wanted to let people tell their stories so that people had an idea of what happened firsthand, and a better chance to protect their families if, God forbid, it ever happened to them. Why did we start the app? Are we starting to sense a trend here? Why did we start teaching classes? Neil and I travel the country and teach classes. Sometimes Steph gets to come along with us. And man, more and more, please, Lord. But of course, somebody's got to hang out with Cody and all that. But start teaching classes all around the country. Not because you make a ton of money. We bring too many people for that. But in order to protect people better and give them evidence-based ways to protect their families. So that goes on and on and on. That's our mission here. And I believe that if you're mission focused and you're values driven, then everything else will take care of itself. So that's 2024. Be mission focused, be values driven. We will live our values at Active Self Protection. We absolutely will. I promise you, before Jesus Christ Almighty, we will live our values. And we've done so, and it's cost us on multiple occasions. I have turned down more sponsored dollars than I could shake a stick at. Neil has said, "Hey, John, this guy has a ton of money, but you're going to say no, so I'm just going to tell him no, okay?" Or even better, I think we should say no because I don't think this is the right thing. And well, if you think we should say no, I mean, we're done.
Which is nice, and which really is emblematic of how aligned we are. Everyone, I know all the full-time employees. I think I probably have at least met all the part-time employees. And what's nice about working here is a few things. I commented after our first sort of business trip that I was on, how nice it was to be around a group of godly men, Christian men, who I knew weren't going to go, cheat on their wife the first chance they got, or get blitzed at the bar and make a complete and utter ass of themselves or whatever.
I can't handle the wife I have. I don't need no more than that. I can't. I'm barely keeping up with that woman as it is.
So, when we say we put Christ at the center of everything we do, we really do. All of us do. And that is the core of who we are and what we do here. I just want to say this before we wrap this up. This should come out before the major holidays, before Christmas and New Year's. So do us a favor. We need you around, our viewers and listeners, to keep learning and keep supporting our important work. So do us a favor. Be safe this holiday season. Take good care of yourself. If you're stressed out, if you're at the end of your rope, man, reach out to someone who can help. There is help out there. This can be a really tough time of the year. So part of covering your ass, as we talk about, is that mental and spiritual fitness. Mm-hmm. Those things are critical. So if you're having a hard time, man, reach out, find someone who can help. We love you. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and happy holidays.